Welcome to Honey Bee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. When you spend 25 years building a life with someone, you start to believe there's nothing left that could break you. You think the arguments, the late nights, the shared laughter, and the quiet routines have built a wall strong enough to withstand anything. That's what I believed about my marriage to Linda. We met in college. She was that girl everyone noticed, but few truly understood. She had this natural charm, confident, lively, the kind of woman who could light up a room without even trying. I was a quiet one, more focused on my studies, but for some reason, she saw something in me. Maybe it was my calmness, or the way I listened. We were different, but we fit together in ways that made sense to no one but us. We married young. I was 26, she was 24. Life wasn't perfect, but we were a team. We built our home from scratch, worked through debts, raised 2 wonderful kids, and made it through every storm together. We celebrated our victories and held each other through losses. For 25 years, she was my partner, my best friend, and the only person I trusted with every part of me. Until the day everything changed. It started small, the kind of small that you don't notice until it's already too late. Linda began dressing differently, spending more time at the gym, and staying out later with her friends. I didn't question it at first. I thought maybe she was going through a phase, trying to rediscover herself after our youngest left for college. We were empty nesters, after all. The house that used to echo with laughter and chaos now felt too big, too quiet. I thought maybe she just needed some excitement, something to fill that emptiness. But soon, her late nights became frequent. She'd come home smelling of perfume and alcohol, saying they'd gone out for just one drink. Sometimes she'd avoid my eyes, brushing past me with that forced smile that never reached her face. One night, I asked her directly, "Linda, is everything okay? You've been distant lately. Are you unhappy with me?" She looked surprised, almost offended. "Unhappy? No, Tom, I'm fine. Don't overthink everything. I'm just trying new things, meeting people. You should do the same. You've gotten too comfortable." Her tone was playful, but something about it stung. Too comfortable? After 25 years, I thought that was something we earned. Comfort, stability, trust. Still, I didn't push. I didn't want to be that jealous husband who monitored his wife's every move. I wanted her to have freedom, to feel alive. But deep down, something felt wrong. Then came the night that shattered it all. It was a Friday. She told me she was going out with a new couple she'd met at a friend's gathering. Said they were fun and that they were hosting a party. I offered to come along, but she laughed and said, "Oh, honey, it's not your kind of thing. You'd be bored." She wore a red dress that I hadn't seen before, one that hugged her body like it was made for her. She looked stunning, but there was something in her eyes I couldn't read. When she left, I sat there on the couch, trying to shake the unease gnawing at me. I turned on the TV, tried reading, even went for a walk, but none of it helped. Something inside me whispered that tonight was different. Around midnight, I tried calling her, but she didn't pick up. 1 a.m. came. 2. Nothing. She finally stumbled in around 4 in the morning. Her hair was messy, her lipstick smudged. She looked different, not just tired, guilty. "Hey," I said softly, "you okay?" She froze for a second before forcing a smile. "Yeah, just a crazy night. You know, dancing, drinks. I'm exhausted." I could smell the alcohol on her breath. I wanted to believe her, but something about her tone broke me. I didn't push that night. I just went to bed and stared at the ceiling until morning. A few days later, while doing laundry, I found a small business card in the pocket of her jeans. It had the name of a private club, one I'd never heard of. At the bottom, in bold letters, it said, "Exclusive adult lifestyle events." My stomach sank. I looked it up online, and what I saw made my heart stop. It was a swingers club. I sat there for a long time, holding that card, trying to make sense of it. Maybe she picked it up by accident. Maybe it was nothing. I didn't want to believe what it suggested. That evening, when she got home, I confronted her. Linda, I said quietly, holding out the card. What is this? Her face turned pale. Where did you get that? In your jeans pocket, I replied. What kind of party was this? She sighed, rubbing her temples. Tom, please, don't make this into something it's not. Then tell me what it is. She hesitated, then whispered. It was just an experience, a swingers party. I didn't plan for it. It just happened. Everyone was so open, free, and I thought maybe I needed to see what I've been missing. My chest felt like it was collapsing. Missing? After 25 years together, after everything we built. Tears welled in her eyes. You don't understand, Tom. I felt invisible lately. The kids are gone, our routine feels lifeless, and you hardly even notice me anymore. I just wanted to feel wanted again. Her words cut deep, not because they were untrue, but because they revealed something I hadn't realized. Maybe I had become too comfortable, too predictable, but still, nothing justified what she had done. So your answer was to go to a swingers party? I asked, voice shaking. To throw away everything we've had for a few hours of excitement? She tried to touch my arm, but I stepped back. I couldn't bear her touch. I couldn't look at her without seeing the image of her with someone else. She broke down, crying uncontrollably. I'm sorry, Tom. I swear, I didn't sleep with anyone. I got caught up in it. I drank too much. I thought it was harmless fun until I realized what I was doing. But her words didn't reach me. The damage was done. Even if she hadn't gone all the way, she had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. That night, I slept in the guest room. I couldn't stand being near her. I stared at the ceiling again, my mind racing through every memory, every smile, every promise we ever made. The next morning, she tried to talk again. She made breakfast, placed my coffee in front of me like everything was normal. Tom, please, she said softly. Can we talk about this? I made a mistake. I know that, but we can fix it. I looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger sitting in my kitchen, wearing the face of the woman I used to love. Linda, I said quietly, you went looking for excitement outside our marriage. You sought attention from others instead of talking to me. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. She bit her lip, tears slipping down her cheeks. Please don't give up on me. I'll do anything, Tom. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I didn't respond right away. My heart wanted to forgive her. The part of me that still remembered the young woman who took my hand under a starlit sky and promised forever. But the man I was now couldn't forget what she'd done. For the next few weeks, we lived like strangers under the same roof. She tried to make amends, cooking my favorite meals, sending me texts during the day, leaving small notes on my desk. But the more she tried, the more I realized that something had died between us. Trust, the one thing that held our marriage together, was gone. One evening, as we sat in silence on the couch, she whispered, I miss us, Tom. I looked at her and all I could think was, so do I? But the us she missed no longer existed. That night, I packed a bag and checked into a nearby hotel. I needed space, time to think. I didn't know if I could forgive her, or if I even wanted to. Because how do you forgive someone who willingly destroyed everything you spent 25 years building, just to feel alive again? And worse, how do you trust them again when they were the one who showed you just how fragile your world really was? I spent that first night in the hotel staring out the window, watching the city lights flicker like distant memories. Every light reminded me of something we once had. Our wedding night, the birth of our children, the laughter that used to fill our home. All of it felt so far away now, like it belonged to someone else's life. I thought about the way Linda used to look at me, with trust, admiration, and love so deep that I never questioned it. Now, when I closed my eyes, all I could see was her walking into that party wearing that red dress, chasing a thrill that didn't include me. For the first few days, she didn't call. Then came a text. Tom, please. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I just want to talk. Please come home. I didn't reply. I needed time to breathe, to understand what I was feeling. Anger, disappointment, grief, they all blended together until I couldn't tell them apart. But as the days passed, a strange kind of emptiness began to settle in. Our house had been my whole world for 25 years. Every corner, every picture, every piece of furniture carried memories of our life together. And now, it felt like a museum of something long dead. On the fifth day, I went back, not to forgive her, but to talk, to get answers. When I walked in, she was sitting on the couch, her eyes swollen from crying. She looked up, hope flashing in her gaze, but I stayed by the door. "Tom," she whispered, "thank you for coming home." "I didn't come home, Linda," I said quietly. "I came to talk." She nodded, wiping her tears. "I understand." We sat across from each other, the silence between us louder than any argument we'd ever had. I finally broke it. "Why? Why did you think something like that could fix what you were feeling?" She looked down. "I don't know. I think I lost myself somewhere along the way. I spent so many years being a wife, a mother, and when the kids left, I didn't know who I was anymore. I wanted to feel something again, anything, and that night, when my friends mentioned that party, I thought maybe it would make me feel alive. But I realized too late that it just made me feel empty." Her voice cracked, and she took a shaky breath. "You were always the steady one, Tom. You were the rock. I thought maybe I needed to shake things up. I didn't realize I'd end up destroying everything that mattered." I leaned back, exhausted. "Linda, I would have done anything to help you if you'd just talked to me. We could have traveled, tried new things together, started over in some way. But instead, you went to strangers to find excitement." Tears rolled down her face. "I know. I was selfish, and now I hate myself for it." For a long time, neither of us said anything. The silence was heavy, but it wasn't angry anymore, just sad. That night, I slept in our bed for the first time in a week, not because I forgave her, but because I was too tired to fight the memories anymore. Over the next few weeks, Linda did everything she could to prove she was sorry. She went to therapy, deleted her social media accounts, stopped going out at night, and started attending marriage counseling sessions. Even when I refused to join, she'd leave me little notes again, the kind she used to write back when we were dating. "I miss your voice. I'm sorry for breaking something so beautiful. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to earn your trust back." At first, I ignored them. Then, slowly, I started reading them. And for reasons I couldn't explain, I didn't throw them away. I'd like to say that time healed everything, but that would be a lie. Healing isn't linear. Some days, I'd wake up missing her warmth beside me, remembering how she used to rest her head on my chest at night. Other days, I'd look at her and feel nothing but resentment. One evening, after dinner, she approached me carefully, like she was walking on glass. "Tom," she said softly, "I know I don't deserve it, but I need to ask, do you think you could ever forgive me?" I didn't answer right away. I took a deep breath, staring at the cup of coffee in my hands. "Linda," I said finally, "forgiveness isn't about you. It's about me trying to find peace. I don't know if I can forgive what you did, but I also don't want to spend the rest of my life being bitter." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I understand. I'll wait, however long it takes." But forgiveness, I learned, doesn't mean reconciliation. Months passed. I went to therapy on my own. I learned about boundaries, about self-worth, about how sometimes love changes even when we don't want it to. The more I grew, the more I realized that my marriage had been built on quiet sacrifices, many of which I made without noticing how they slowly erased parts of me. Linda wasn't the only one who had lost herself. I had too. It wasn't until one rainy evening that everything came full circle. I came home from work to find Linda sitting on the couch with an envelope in her hand. "I've been thinking," she said quietly, handing it to me. "It's from my lawyer. It's a separation agreement. I don't want to hurt you anymore by holding on if you're not happy. You deserve peace, Tom, even if it's not with me." I stared at the papers. For a moment, I didn't know what to feel. Relief? Sadness? Both, maybe, she continued. You gave me 25 years of love, loyalty, and stability. I threw it away for one night of stupidity. I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But I also know you deserve to live without the shadow of my mistake haunting you." Her voice broke near the end, and she looked away, ashamed. I sat down beside her. "Linda," I said softly, "you're right. I can't keep living like this, half in the past, half in the pain. I'll always care about you. You're the mother of my children. But I think we've reached the end of our story." She nodded, her shoulders trembling as she cried quietly. I wanted to reach out, to hold her one last time, but I knew it would only make things harder. A week later, I packed my things and moved out. It wasn't easy. 25 years don't just fade away. There were moments when I almost turned back, when I almost convinced myself to try again. But deep down, I knew that even if we stayed together, the foundation of trust would always have cracks. Months turned into a year. Life slowly began to make sense again. I started taking walks in the park, joined a book club, and even traveled for the first time in years. The silence that used to suffocate me became peaceful. Linda and I stayed in touch, mostly about the kids, sometimes about little things like birthdays or holidays. There was no bitterness in our conversations, just a quiet understanding of what once was and what could never be again. One day, I got a letter from her. It wasn't long, just a few lines written in her familiar handwriting. "Tom, I still think of you every day. I know I destroyed something sacred, and I'll live with that forever. But I hope, wherever life takes you, you find someone who cherishes you the way I should have. Thank you for loving me for all those years, even when I didn't deserve it." I sat there, reading it over and over, feeling both sorrow and gratitude. Sorrow for what we lost, gratitude for the years we did have. That night, I stood on my balcony, watching the sunset bleed across the sky. For the first time in a long while, I felt calm. Linda's betrayal had broken me, yes, but had also forced me to rediscover myself, to understand that love isn't just about staying, but about knowing when it's time to let go. I didn't hate her anymore. I didn't pity her either. I just accepted that sometimes people lose their way. Sometimes they make mistakes so big they can't undo them. And sometimes walking away is the only way to heal. It took me years to realize it, but the truth was simple. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. Linda had thrown away 25 years for a night she barely remembered, but I refused to let that one night define the rest of my life. I learned to live again, to smile, to laugh, to love myself without guilt. And though I'll always carry the memories of what we once had, I also carry the strength of having survived what almost destroyed me. That's the thing about love. It can shatter you, but if you let it, it can also rebuild you into someone stronger, wiser, and more alive than before. So when people ask me if I ever forgave her, I say this. Yes, I forgave her. But I never forgot the lesson she taught me. That loyalty, once broken, can never be the same again.